Welcome to a beautiful December dawn here in Rampurhat, West Bengal, where we mark the end of 6 weeks of an intense but highly productive working session with our partners here, Dr. Ali and Molay. We also mark the beginning of the GumCha for Health program, and due to the work that was accomplished here, we're now prepared to begin distribution and marketing of the beautiful GumCha and the development of this product program that is designed to provide continuing funding for Dr. Molay and Dr. Ali's work here in Rampurhat, as well as IFFH's work in all of rural India. Our strategy here, since there was so much to do in so little time to accomplish it, was to take the entire goals of the project and start with the things that were going to take the longest and begin all of the projects at once. So, our first trip was to the chartered accountant, Raju Krishi, to establish a limited liability partnership for-profit organization to handle the work of the GumCha program here in Rampurhat. Raju has been a long-time supporter for 27 years of Ali's work and has been his advisor and an accountant. He's agreed to go ahead and be our accountant and our advisor in the regulatory process that is pretty cumbersome here in India. So now we have gone ahead and established this handloom for health in Rampurhat, and Raju has submitted that paperwork, and because of the time constraints, it's going to take a couple of weeks before that organization is established, but we have made all the required licensing applications. And while we were doing that, the plumbers arrived. This entailed drilling holes in the walls and putting up a water tank above this room here and an extra water tank down below, so we would have the capacity to have a washer and a dryer and the things that are necessary to move as many GumCha through this process as possible. A few days later, the dryer arrived on a bicycle trolley. And then a week later, we had the washer show up that we had to go get 30 miles away and come in on train. And it also showed up and came in at night on a bicycle trolley. Those pieces of the puzzle are now put together. They are here, where we've converted 2 small rooms into a mini factory for the processing and shipping of GumCha from here in West Bengal. While the plumbers were busy, we had the great fortune of meeting a key member of our personnel. And this is Bojali Ahmed. We've always tried to figure out, really, what the interior economics of GumCha have been. This has been very difficult to unravel. It turns out that through Bojali's help, we've been able to figure out exactly how GumCha is created. Turns out that it really requires someone like Bojali, whose father and grandfather before him have acted as producers for the handloom industry here in this district. As it happens, weavers only make 32 cents a piece for weaving GumCha. And It also happens that since 2012, the economics of the world and locally has had a devastating effect on handloom weaver farmers. The combination of high rising cotton prices and the competition from artificial GumCha made on machine and using inexpensive polyester cotton blends adds to the lowering value of the rupee and the massive inflation that happened a few years ago on significant commodities. The combining effect of all this has left many weavers incapable of having any type of income or dependable income weaving GumCha. In 2012, it was estimated that there were 3,400 farmer weavers in the northern section of the service area that Dr. Ali has. Today, there are only 400 of the weavers active working. Having had to stop weaving, the farmers and weavers have had to turn to other sources of income. Many of the women, thousands of these women that are in these weaver family farming families, have had to turn to rolling, hand rolling cheap Indian cigarettes, which has a really significant health risk to it. Their husbands, many of them, have had to relocate into cities to get employment as construction laborers, leaving the farms for other people in the neighborhood to take care of, while these folks go ahead and make the extra income that's so necessary. These economic facts make the production of the GumCha for Health program even more important. As it turns out, the difference between them being able to weave GumCha and not is just a few cents. The difference is only 8 cents per GumCha. This is extraordinary. One of the major goals of this program was to double the income of weavers. Yet at the same time, we really didn't know how much the weavers made. Now that we know that, we realize that we can triple the income of the weavers, and this is going to have a significant effect. With Bojali's help, as the coordinator and the director of Weaver Relations, we've been able to organize now 50 or 60 of the weavers into creating about 2,500 to 2,600 GumCha that are being woven now, or many hundred of them are sitting here in Ramperhat ready for processing. Also, with Bojali's help, we've been able to unravel the cost of cotton and the dyeing of cotton. So now we're able to buy cotton where farmer weavers were never able to afford a true wholesale price. We can now get a true wholesale price, actually increase the quality of the GumCha that we're creating by increasing the quality of the cotton that's being used, and we're able to pass that savings and that increase in profitability onto the weavers. Tripling the income of the weavers turns out to be not even a blip in the overall budget and the overall economic forecast of the GumCha for Health program. While all this was happening, and while we were in the northern part of the district visiting with Beaujolais and his family and revisiting the weavers that we had met, also have to acknowledge the huge amount of activity that happens here at the service house called Siba Nikatan, which is Dr. Mole and Dr. Ali's home, as well as the headquarters of their NGO and the home of several young women that have been serving this society and serving the work of this family for several years. You have to get up pretty early in the morning to figure out how Dr. Ali does this. In fact, 4:30 in the morning, and you have to be able to prepare to run for the train. And once you get to the town that you're working in, you have to realize that this is a huge effort done by very few people. First thing you find is 3 training sites that are training over 400 young women using a self-sufficient, self-sustaining method to train young women to as village nurse midwives and as people who can be qualified to work in clinics and work in hospitals and work in nursing homes here in the area. The Alis were able to do this by only charging these young women 80 cents a month and having sessions 3 times a week. The economics of this is extraordinary, and these young women from very poor village communities and families are now able to make a living and also impart important health knowledge to their communities through their work and through the training that the Alis provide. While all this is happening, the Pulse Polio program, the polio eradication program that has now eradicated polio from India, is conducted on a local level right here in this house. In the morning of the Pulse Polio program, which lasts about 3 days, scores of young women come, and some young men come and pick up polio vaccine that is then distributed throughout this whole area. Women walking the streets, running into small children, and giving the vaccine. A little mark on the finger, and they move on. Extraordinary process that ends in a door-to-door survey and polio vaccine administration on the final day. So everyone is covered. They're very keen about this, and it's intense and it's beautiful to watch, and they're very, very proud of the fact that they've been able to eradicate polio. And this is a major undertaking, and locally this is the center of it in this house. So as the plumbing is going on, as the dryer is coming, as the trolley rickshaws are coming, there's some actual other real work that's going on here, which is extraordinary, and the very reason why we wanted to establish the GumCha for Health program to begin with, so we could support the efforts of Dr. Ali and Mole. Dr. Ali and Mole have put together an incredible team to make sure that the GumCha for Health program gets off the ground and it runs smoothly. Key personnel have been established, and they are long-time workers within the society and well known to everyone as hardworking, conscientious, and intelligent young women. Basi Roon is a health educator and manager of health programs here at the service house. She'll be taking care of the accounts Chandra is also a health educator and a manager of health programs, and has been here for at least 16 years. She will be taking care on a daily basis of the personnel and the scheduling of the production and shipping of GumCha from Rampurhat. Sunam Ali, Dr. Ali's daughter, has computer training and very facile in the technical ends of things, and she will be making sure that we have continuous communication and that we're able to process these orders and track these orders and make sure that everything happens from a technical computer internet point of view. Two young women, Pinky and Pooja, are from very poor farming villages. They will be the main workers in the GumCha for Health processing facility, and overseeing some other women that are going to be coming in on a daily basis. We've identified 3 main people to come in right now to help with the labor of processing and shipping GumCha. Also have a waiting list of about 8 young women who will be called in as needed. So while we were developing personnel and the business and the weaver relations end of things, there was a huge amount of construction going on. We had workbenches made, we had the rooms cleaned out, we had things painted, and now we have a complete mini workshop for constructing GumCha. So today, being our last full day, it's going to be a complete training session where all the young women will be in the workshop together, and we will go through the entire process. What we're going to do, and our plan is for people to work together simply to do a really, really good job and get the process where everyone is quite understanding of what goes where. And when that happens, then we will go ahead and introduce the idea of developing volume. And we think that it'll take about a month to get everything smoothed out, but eventually we want to be able to process and ship 1,000 GumCha a week. And that is doable. Bosley assures us that we can easily provide 1,000 GumCha a week in time. It'll take a couple of months for that to happen. But when it does, we'll also have the capacity within our group to process and ship them. That's our goal. It looks like it's doable. All the infrastructure is in place, the business is in place, the personnel are in place. The thing that we are really lacking, and that is the completion of the funding that we think is going to be required to make sure that we have enough GumCha on hand, enough people on hand that are committed to the program, and to be able to look into the foreseeable future and see that we can go ahead and offer this program to the public. So, I want to thank everyone that has been so supportive of this program and the efforts that we've made here, all of the great contributions that people have had, and I want you all to know that I really, really appreciate it. And I know that Margaret does, I know that Dr. Ali and Molly do, and I want to thank you all for giving us a great opportunity to be involved in a very unique program where we're able to have a self-sufficient, self-sustaining, self-funding public health initiative that is truly community-based. Everything that all the international public health experts suggest is really the key to the next step in improving healthcare across the world. So, thank you from beautiful dawn here in Rampurhat, West Bengal. And I hope to see you in the United States soon. I leave tomorrow morning at dawn. Thank you.